podcast, we got Joe Rogan talking with The Rock. And I think there's no more fitting of a person, I mean, besides an actual resident of La Jolla, to be talking about what's going on with Maui. Joe Rogan is sounding off on the fact that, you know, again, he's another person. Tucker Carlson's one, Joe Rogan's another. Even The Rock doesn't really want to say it, but they feel it. And they're saying it without saying it, like America first. Why is there no money for the people of La Jolla? Why is there no money to rebuild the houses? But there's $100 billion in pre-authorized aid to go to the Middle East. And when I say the Middle East, I don't even just mean Israel. Some of it goes to Gaza, some of it goes to Israel, funds released to Iran. It's crazy. But there's so much going on in American, like on American soil. So much. And of course, you know, The Rock is Hawaiian. He has grandparents that are buried there. So Joe Rogan touches on this with him and he gives his feelings as well. So let's get into that clip. And then at the end of this, I'm going to give you a little update on what's going on in La Jolla. I think this is absolutely messed up from what I just read. And I'm going to read it to you and play a little video for you so you can get a feel for it as well. Let's get into the clip.
But no discussion at all. People have completely forgotten about Maui. No one discusses Maui. It never comes up.
Well, brother, you know, those are my people.
Yes.
Right? Polynesian people. My grandparents are buried over there in the islands, my family. So we started that fund, the People's Fund of Maui. And now we've helped over 8,000 people, $1,200 per person who's verified, over 8,000, which is really amazing. But one of the biggest things, which, first of all, the whole fucking thing was so heartbreaking. But then also, don't forget about Maui. And it's crazy because the work that now that me and the team have been putting it, like, it doesn't end.
Right.
It's a continuous calling these corporations, hey, remember, these are our American people.
Right.
They're not just out there on the island. Like,
right.
These are our American people. We can't forget about them. So it's a wild thing.
It's wild that that's not done by the government. Like,
yes.
Why wouldn't they do that? It's the biggest wildfire, the worst disaster.
In 100 years.
In 100 years. We don't even know how many people are dead because so many people are unaccounted for and they can't find their bodies. There's nothing left. They're incinerated.
Oh.
So how do you find who's missing and who's gone? You don't know. It's going to take a long time to sort it out.
Well, and the bill back to stand everybody back up on their feet and the families, right. It's going to take a long time.
Long time.
But if you think about it, we stood this fund up on its feet, brother, within 6 weeks, just like that. They're still waiting for the governmental money.
It's insane.
It's insane.
It's insane when you think about how much money we donate to other countries.
And we flew in after that, after the wildfires, man. And it's like something you've never seen before. And you feel the weight and the heaviness of the area.
Yeah.
You know, when devastation like that happens in that way.
Yeah.
Like you land, and you know, you've been to Hawaii a whole bunch of times. I feel like when you land, you feel that aloha spirit.
Yeah.
It feels good.
Yeah, it's
the
amazing.
Mana.
Yeah.
It's amazing, right? And it's but you land there and you feel
the heaviness.
Fucking heavy.
Heavy.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah. Heartbreaking. And it will be for a long time.
Yes.
But
I'm proud of them. I'm so proud of our people, you know, because it's like, it's what you do in times like this. You fucking come together.
Well, the people that did survive and do come together, they will never forget. And it'll be a part of them. And it'll probably bring those people closer together, especially the people that helped everybody.
Yeah.
But it's just insane that the government doesn't do anything about it. And they still could. They still could. They're writing these $1 billion checks to Israel and $1 billion checks to this and $1 billion. Just come on. Fucking step up. Everybody would approve it. No one would say, what are you doing? Why are you spending all that money on Maui?
For
our own people.
Yes.
Which is crazy that Hawaii is America anyway. I mean, it's great that it's protected by America, but isn't it crazy you have to fly 5 hours over the ocean and you're still in America? Yeah. You literally land on a beautiful volcano in the middle of the ocean that's created islands.
Yeah.
And that's America.
50th state.
Yeah. It's fucking wild. But if that is America, we should treat it like it's America, and we should protect it like it's America, and we should help them like it's America.
Protect it to the core.
And $700 per person is not doing that at all. A one-time payment. It's so insulting and so insane in the light of all this public knowledge of the amount of money that we're sending to other countries.
Yeah, we know what we did on this fund. Just so you know, it's $1,200 per month.
Oh, that's great.
It's great for months, and anyone who's verified, and you know, with Polynesian culture. There's a lot of people in a house at times, like aunties and uncles and grandparents. So there's some houses that are getting $4,000, $5,000, $6,000.
That's great.
That's really great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something. And again, it should be coming from the government, and it could be done. It's not something that couldn't be done. I mean, it's something that everybody would support.
Take care of our own.
Take care of our own
first.
Yeah, I mean, what are we if we're not a country? If we're not,
it's the same thing with family.
Yes.
Right? Like you would take care of your family
Yes.
first. I take care of my family first.
Yes.
Take care of our American people.
It's a community.
First.
We should be a community.
Yeah.
And we're so divided and polarized right now. And I think a lot of that is accentuated by social media, and also accentuated by the mental illness of being obsessed by social media. Because I think it is a mental illness. I think it's a mental illness, just like gambling addiction is a mental illness.
Yeah.
I think it's just that people are goddamn addicted to apps and their phone and just reading stuff and attacking each other. And
Yeah.
it's caused this divide to be
reading stuff and believing.
Yeah, well, when I was a kid, you could have a Republican friend. Like it was no big deal.
Yes.
It's no big deal. Like, oh, Bobby likes George Bush. Who
course.
cares? Who gives a
Right.
fuck? You know, you were a supporter of Bill Clinton. He liked George Bush. Nobody cared. Nobody like, fuck you. You know, it wasn't like you're a Nazi. Like I'm a Nazi. I just want lower taxes.
What the fuck are you talking
saying?
about?
How did I become a Nazi?
Dude, it's the craziest thing. I have friends who support Trump. I have friends who support Biden. I have friends.
Do you really have friends who support Biden?
I do.
Come
well,
on.
no. Here's what I do. I have friends. Thank you. That's a good check because that's important. This is important context.
They support the Democratic Party.
I have friends who are loyal to the party.
Yes, and
Okay.
they're the progressive.
Right.
Yes.
Loyal to the party,
Yeah.
support Trump. I have friends who are like, fuck it, I'm not voting for either one. Last election, this election.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's that kind of thing that I would love to see us get to that place where it's okay.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, you
Should
vote
be
for
able-
that person, no
and
problem.
People should be able to have discussions about the differing opinions and not turn it into just some crazy insult fest, which is what you see online. And you see it all the time. You see it online even with political commentators. They get in these interview sessions and they fucking start yelling and screaming at each other. It's like,
It's fucking,
it's fucking
insane.
stupid. It's bad for you, too. It's bad for the people that are engaging in it. It's bad for everybody who's listening.
Well, so yeah, and it's unhealthy. Not
Yeah.
only unhealthy for yourself, but also just in terms of humanity, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's bad for humanity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: you were you talked about
Man. Well, you know what? Listen, that fund that he started with Oprah, that backfired. Everybody knows that backfired because I made a video about it. The two of them together probably, net worth of, I would imagine, around, maybe just under $4 billion. Right? So I'm not saying that they should give all their money to the people of La Jolla. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not even saying that they should give 50% of their money or even 25%. But I am saying that the people that they were asking for money, they have an unimaginable amount more than everybody they're asking. Even a suggestion just to myself, just thinking of them, go to every celebrity and say, hey, can we borrow $100,000? $100,000. Every celebrity, politicians, and then ask the government to match it. Even something like that, and then petition around how many people support that happening. They could go about it certain ways, but he's trying $1,200 a month. It's more than what Biden's doing. So that's nice. It's nice. Sucks that it's coming from people who can't necessarily afford it and shouldn't have to be paying for it. They already pay taxes. They already pay sales tax. They already pay so much money, but it's nice that it can happen for some people who really need it. That is a nice thing, Heart's in the right place, I'm sure. Okay, I don't know about Oprah, but but funny what he just said. I have friends that support Trump. I got friends that support Biden, and Joe goes, "Hold on, really? Friends that support Biden?" And he backtracks. And kind of indirectly says, "No. I don't have any friends that actually support Biden. But I got friends who are dedicated to the party." Ooh, that's interesting. That's an interesting little thing he did, if you notice that. I'm telling you, man, again, I've said it in the last episode I just did. I think this is him. What Joe Rogan does the best, better than anybody, is he humanizes people. He makes people seem human, which is why I want him so badly to interview Trump, because the people who hate Trump will at least see a human side of him, and maybe they won't be like, I'm for Trump now, but they'll be like, I get why people like him. I understand. There were some things that he said I agreed with. You can't hear somebody talk for more than 4 hours or up to 4 hours and not agree with at least one thing they have to say. That's why I've always wanted them to interview Trump. But as he's sitting here with The Rock, he's doing that exact thing. He's giving him that human look. Because when we see him on Instagram and we see him in the movies and we see him in wrestling, we're seeing a grandiose image of a person. We're seeing a hero. We're seeing all these different things. But when he sits down with Joe, we get to see a human. And that's the thing you need if you're going to run for president. So I really do think that The Rock is going to run. I think this is part of it. I think this is part of the plan. Again, I don't think a person like this does anything just by chance. And again, he just spoke about the fund. He isn't really advertising it. He's not really pushing people towards it. He's already learned his lesson from that once. So it's not like the fund is the thing he's trying to push, and that's why he's on this podcast. Trevor Noah's podcast, he mentioned it even less than what he just mentioned now on with Rogan. So very interesting. And again, they have the money. The government has the money. Rogan said it. $1 billion check here, $1 billion check there. Drop $10 billion on La Jolla for cleanup, pulling away, disposing of things, maybe redoing the soil however they have to, the most carbon neutral, whatever type of soil that they need to put down, whatever they want, climate change people, whatever they want, build up that community again. Build up the houses one by one by one by one. You could do that. And they just don't. So I don't get it. Here's a little update on what's going on with La Jolla. I don't like this at all. I'm going to play this video. It's about 1 minute, and then I'm going to read just a small bit of the article that's below. I don't think this is right to do to these people. I'll be honest with you. Let's play this video.
Hawaii's governor says a fund modeled after the 9/11 Victims Compensation Fund will provide ongoing support for those impacted by the Lahaina wildfire. Marking 3 months since the devastating fire that killed 99 people, Governor Josh Green announced the Maui Recovery Fund. And what it means is that people who lost loved ones or suffered serious injuries will be eligible for compensation. The governor says the fund already has commitments of more than $150 million. In addition to that, FEMA is providing more than 18 months of leases and rental assistance for displaced families to keep them housed into 2025 if necessary. There's also support for Lahaina's business community. The governor said local businesses will be eligible for emergency grants of up to $20,000 each to help avoid bankruptcy. The wind-driven wildfire on August 8th was the deadliest in modern U.S. history.
So, right now, I'm just going to stop and say, I realize that there may have been copywritten music in that video. So you may just get me saying I'm going to show you this video, and now it's just cutting to me now. If that's the case, I couldn't show that video and I had to trim it out. But let's move on. I should be at least able to read something. This fund that they're talking about. So Maui has this fund. Governor Josh Green on Wednesday announced the creation of the fund. It's up to $150 million in commitments for the families who have lost loved ones and have been injured by the wildfires. The only thing I don't like about this is the beneficiaries will receive payments of more than $1 million as early as April to June of next year. The governor's office says in a news release, those getting money from the fund will waive the right to file legal claims. That I don't like. That's almost like, listen, we only have this amount of money. We can give you this much. This is the exact thing that the governor said he didn't want to have happen. He said he didn't want people to approach the people of Maui with these lowball type of offers for their land because they could get taken advantage of. But when you make this fund and you're offering them, let's say there's probably a few people who are entitled to, just think about how much their land is worth. What a house there could be worth. You know what I mean? If 10 of them got together, what a small resort could be worth on that land. It's paradise. It's literally paradise. And then you're going to look at them and say, yeah, you know what? We only got commitments up to, let's say it goes up to $250 million. We only got commitments up to $250 million. There's thousands of people we got to take care of. We can't offer you more than $800,000. They'd be better off selling to some developer at that point. Developer might offer them 1.5, 2 million bucks. Now you're only going to offer them a small amount, nothing more than $1 million. And then on top of that, they waive the right to make any kind of legal claims. I don't know. I think that's bad because here's the thing. Because they put the moratorium on the land in terms of everybody, moratorium means that they cannot build. And if they were to sell the land to a developer, that developer cannot build. And it's something that the government puts in place, the governor, local government, I guess you could say, they put it in place and they decide when that's removed. So it's so messed up. So they're not allowed to take offers from a developer, say. And that developer, even if he did take some kind of offer under the table, they wouldn't be able to build. But instead, they're going to offer people this money, and who knows what happens from there. Do they forfeit their land too? Obviously, it doesn't say that, so I won't assume that, but it seems like they're getting shortchanged in there. It really does. The fund, I'll just read the end of the article. It says the fund aims, here, let me pull that up for you guys again. Interesting. The fund aims to enable swift and generous financial payments for losses without requiring people to go through time-consuming litigation. The release says it also aims to finance the rebuilding of Lahaina in a manner that embodies Hawaii's values and traditions. Again, I don't know. I just think that's too vague. Like, why not just say, we're going to give you guys money and we're going to rebuild your house? But when you say they're going to rebuild Lahaina in a manner that embodies Hawaii's values and traditions, you're not really saying that everybody's going to get their land back, you know? And then they talk about time-consuming litigation. Those people have nothing but time right now. They've been displaced from their homes that they've had for generations, and they're sitting and waiting to see when they can go back. They're not even allowed to go back. They're not even allowed to build. They have nothing but time if they want to go through litigation, which they arguably could. And if they all did it together, I'm sure they get way more than $150 million. Think about it. Think about that land, where that land is. It's worth so much money. I don't know. Seems a little messed up to me. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think of that. What do you think about what The Rock's doing? I mean, listen, I didn't like the idea of the fund, and I still think that he shouldn't have to ask people who are already going through so much, experiencing inflation, paying everything that they have to pay already. But he is doing more than Biden has. And that's saying something. And that, again, makes me go towards this guy's going to run for president. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe. I'm out.